look at our final integration right now, and that's Shopify. And so Shopify handles our additional sales channels for our website or an e-com orders. So we currently only integrate with Shopify. We have plans to add support for integration to Magento, WooCommerce, additional platforms as they become available. So managing that Shopify setup is fairly easy. So I currently have a Shopify site set up, but again, all I'm doing is you put in your store name and your username and password, and that'll create your Shopify integration. Now, there's some additional settings that we have for Shopify. One is the default document type that we pull in, and then 2 is the default Shopify location. So in this case, I am using any sales transaction that comes over from Shopify. I want it to come over as a sales receipt. And if I had multiple named sales receipts, so if I created one called Shopify transactions, I could specify that. I'll come back to the integration checkbox. The second piece is what warehouse do we want to have our inventory pulled from and then used on those transactions. So we do send inventory quantities over to Shopify. We sync those quantities over to Shopify. So again, our inventory is essentially the inventory Bible. We have the actual numbers. We say what that inventory level is. And so every 10 minutes, we're sending updates up to Shopify for those inventory values. So whenever we get a sales transaction, in this case a sales receipt from Shopify, we are going to use this Lowell warehouse as the location on that sales transaction, or in this case that sales receipt. So that's where we're going to pull that inventory from. So I could have a separate inventory or a separate location that I set up specifically for handling Shopify sales, or I could use just a generic or a single location and have it hit a single location just like every other transaction I may be creating. If I have, the ideal process when setting up Shopify or connecting Shopify is that I have items already set up within my Shopify web store. And then when we mark this do the initial integration, turn it on, we're going to pull down an inventory transaction with those items. We're going to pull all those inventory items down. We're going to pull down an inventory transaction for whatever inventory you may say you have in Shopify, which will create an inventory adjustment. You can either post that adjustment or you can void that adjustment. It's up to you. So if you have not added in your inventory from Shopify yet, that will add that in for you. Once you have handled that adjustment, whatever you're going to do with it, you're going to want to go in and turn on the Shopify integration as live. And it's at that point that we will start pulling sales transactions down from Shopify and essentially initiate that integration, both an import and export integration with Shopify. The Shopify integration is a 10-minute integration, just like all of our other integrations. And so every 10 minutes, we're going to hit the Shopify web store, and we're going to pull down any sales transactions down into whatever workflow we've defined for this sales receipt and have it hit and use that workflow that I have specified. And so that's going to allow me, again, to manage those sales channels or whatever my separate sales channels are, in this scenario using Shopify as that separate sales channel, and have a completely separate workflow for that specific sales channel. And so once I have that set up, I have my integration turned on. At that point, I'm ready to start pulling down those sales transactions. You can go to your Shopify web store. You can put in test transactions. You can pull those down. You'll see those come in every 10 minutes into your workflow, and you can start managing those. We will also send updates back on those sales transactions. So once they've been fulfilled, once they've been shipped, we're going to update that sales order or that Shopify order on the Shopify website so that, again, your customers are getting those updates if they're using their web portal in Shopify to go in and see their order status and things like that. We'll be sending those updates over. It's a fairly simplistic integration. Once you have it set up, there's not a lot that you have to do to it. So again, we're just going to start pulling those transactions down. As far as the items go, we look at 3 different fields to match on the items. So we're looking at item number, we're looking at SKU, and we're looking at UPC. So if your Shopify item matches any of the items within SalesPad Cloud based off of those 3 fields, one of those 3 fields, then we're going to consider those the same items. It's going to use that item's inventory out of Cloud. It's going to use that item on the sales transaction when it comes over to SalesPad Cloud from Shopify. And then also we pull over customer information. We will create new customers from Shopify into SalesPad Cloud so that you can see, again, all these different customers. So we're getting all of that information, and again, it helps build that. SalesPad Cloud is that management system, central management system for all of your different sales channels. Everything funnels back into cloud and then can be managed from within cloud.